Hello, everyone. Welcome to my April 2022 online workshop. So once a month, usually the second or third weekend of the month, I go live and put on a little online workshop. And the way this works is it's kind of like a reverse card class. Instead of signing up for a card class, having me mail you stuff, and then us getting together online to craft, I come online, I do some crafting, I show you some stuff, and then with a $65 order, you can actually get the make and take kit mailed to you, and then you can create these cards on your own, watching the replay at a later date. So yeah, just kind of like a backwards card class. So today I'm super excited. I am featuring the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, and I'm combining it with a whole bunch of new product as well as some favorite retiring products so that you guys can just make sure you've got stocked up on kind of things that you've had on your wish list that are retiring, because we only have less than a month now before our 2021-2022 annual catalog is no longer active. So I am happy to say the Butterfly Brilliance bundle is not retiring. Um, it won't be offered at bundle price though, which is why I kind of wanted to share it with you, because it's such a beautiful bundle. And so if you can get it at 10% off before the new catalog starts, um, might as well. If you're planning to buy it, might as well grab it now bundled up and 10% off instead of separated into the dies and stamp set separately and no discount. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop. I see a bunch of you have popped on. If you want to say hi, I'd love to see who's here. And we'll get started crafting. So I have 4 cards today for you. And even though we are focusing on the Butterfly Brilliance set, because it has no sentiments, I've paired it with the best year. And there are actually some masculine cards in here, no butterflies. All right. Hi, Janet. So here we go. We're going to switch over to my desktop. And so I'll just give you a quick look here. So our Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, it's actually one giant stamp, which is kind of cool. And then it comes with a ton of dies. So it has one giant die that cuts out all of the butterflies all at once. And the picture on the front's actually smaller than real life. That's why it's not lining up. But it's a one giant die that cuts out all the butterflies that you've stamped, and then all the individual detailed butterflies and some extra little details. So really, really beautiful, really fun set to use. All right, that didn't go on quite right. We'll fix that up later. So we're using the Butterfly Brilliance that is bundled now, but will carry over. We're using the Best Year stamp set, which is retiring, which makes me really sad because it's got some great Father's Day ones, like "To the world you are a dad, but to me you are the world," and just some good Christmas sentiments, birthday, thank you, congratulations. Like, it's got everything. So really, really nice one. Good morning, Val. And then the final thing that I'm using today is my very, very favorite labels die set. This is the Tasteful labels, and they are retiring as well. So one last kick at the can before I start using other stuff. And I'm actually going to sneak in one new die. I'll show you guys later. So that is what I am creating with today. We're going to get started stamping. So I'm going to start with the 2 like very butterfly, very feminine cards, and then I'll do the 2 Father's Day cards, or they're not actually Father's Day, but the 2 masculine cards at the end. All right, so for our first card, let's see. Of course, I've got all the materials for the first card on the very bottom of my stack of prepped materials. That was silly. All right, let's work our way down there. All right, I think I got all the pieces. So for our first card, hi, Jacqueline. I am using the brand new Orchid Opulence. And so I've just taken a piece of cardstock, cut it in half, scored it at 4 1/4, and now we have a perfect little card base. I should actually get my bone folder to fold this. So this is like a very Or it can look very blue, depending on what you put it with, or it can look very purple if you put it with some blues. So, for example, I've got some Night of Navy here, and once you put that together, well, on the screen it doesn't actually look purple, but in person it looks quite purpley. So we have our Orchid Opulence card base, and the first thing we're going to do is grab that giant stamp I was telling you about. Oh, so glad you got them, Jacqueline. So this is the giant butterfly stamp, and I've put it onto my Stamparatus. Now, I don't actually use my Stamparatus as much as I should, but for something like this, I really wanted to use it to make sure that if I mess up the stamping, I can go back and stamp it again. So I've got this here. I just want to make sure that that magnet's going to be lined up. Okay. So I've got this here. I'm going to pop this card in, and I'm going to use this little magnet. Mine's a little bit broken. I dropped it onto, I've got a concrete floor in here and dropped it on the floor. It's not happy, but it still works. All right, and then I'm just going to double check. Yeah, that's exactly how I want it. All right, so I've just lined this up on my Stamparatus, made sure that my magnet, so when you close this, you can see my magnet. Oh, actually, just a little bit over. Not too far. There we go. I don't want my magnet to end up stopping the stamp from going down. So just lined that up where that's going to not be in the way. Now I've got some Versamark, and I'm actually going to ink up this whole thing in Versamark. So I wanted to show everybody this technique. It's something we used to do ages and ages ago, and I don't know, we kind of got away from doing it. At least I did. But it's a great way to basically own every ink color without owning every ink color. So now I do happen to own the Orchid Opulence, but I figured since this is a card class, lots of you are not demonstrators and won't have your new ink colors yet. I wanted you to still be able to make the cards when I send you the card kit. And so we're going to use Versamark, which is an ink that lots of you should have, hopefully. And if you don't, let me know and we'll make sure that that ends up on your order. So what happens when I stamp this with the Versamark is it's like a watermark, but on certain colors, darker colors more than light colors. See, and that's why I use the Stamparatus. I did miss a little spot. So on darker colors, more than light colors, when you put the Versamark on here, it actually like water stains the page and allows you to see the image. Voila, there we go. As though you had stamped color on color onto your cardstock. So without owning Orchid Opulence ink, we just got, oh no, I did get that in the way. There. We just got some beautiful Orchid Opulence butterflies all over the front of our card. And see the joy of that? I had to just move that out of the way, and then I could go in and stamp that butterfly wing. And so no big deal that I didn't get a good impression the first time. All right, so now that we've got that stamped, that's kind of the background of our card. I am going to grab a piece of vellum cardstock. And so I love this because it's vellum, but it's very, very thick, which means that you can do things with it you can't do with regular vellum, like punch the corners. So I forgot to let you know, I am also using on a few of the cards this detailed trio punch. Now it says $27 here because that's what I paid for it when I purchased it, but it's actually retiring and is on sale right now for $16.20. So an amazing deal. It's got a little circle here to punch. So like if you wanted to punch a little hole in a corner to be able to tie in a ribbon or something. And then the other two are the ones that I use even more. One of them is a corner rounder. And so you just pop that in, push down, and then I'm going to turn this and do one more corner. There we go. So now I've got my corner rounder. Love having a corner rounder. And then the other one we're going to use on another card, and it's this really cute little flower design. that you can punch in the corner, and it works well with the rounding. So really cute. So that's the detailed trio punch, and it is retired but still available. All right, now that we've got the corners punched on this piece of vellum cardstock, I'm also going to emboss it, because although regular vellum might be too thin to emboss and might tear, the vellum cardstock has no problem taking most folders. There are some of the 3D ones that the impressions are so deep it tears it, but most of them it works just fine. And this one, it works beautifully. So I'm just going to grab my mini, and to do our 3D embossing, we need the plate 1, our embossing sandwich, and then plate 4. And then, of course, when you're on screen, it won't work as easily as it should. All right, there we go. That back over here, and we'll pull this out. And so it does, stick a little bit to the embossing folder because this one's quite detailed, but it pulls out nicely. And so that is our splatters from our Splatters and Stripes embossing folder. That one's in our current mini and we'll be carrying over into the new catalog. So it's the two embossing folders come together in a pack. All right, so with that done, we're not going to glue this down yet. I'm going to actually attach a bunch of stuff to the front of it before we glue it down. That way we can hide all of the glue behind the things that we've put on the front. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually grab some of our brand new Baker's twine. And so we're doing Orchid Opulence, so that's the one I'm going to grab here. So in the pack, you actually get 2 yards of each of the in colors. So it's pretty awesome. And so we're going to I put out a little bit so I have some space to tie a bow. And then I love doing the double wrap when I work with twine. So I'm going to double wrap it, pinch it off, and snip the end. So I've got 2 equal ends. And then I'm going to take this one piece and I'm actually going to loop it under both bits of twine. Okay. Then I'm going to tie a knot. Now that I've got my knot tied, I can kind of play with position and everything. Move it up and down, do whatever I want with it. And then I can come on in and tie my bow. So I like to do 2 bunny ears when I tie my bows. All right. So while I'm working on this one, I also wanted to let you guys know, while we have the retiring sale going on for the rest of the month, I also have some advertisements out for things that are coming once the new catalog is here, like my In Color Club. And so if you join an In Color Club, all the details are available on my link tree. But if you join In Color Club, you basically get a little bit of everything. We focus on 1 color a month. I pair it up with a stamp set, and if you already own it, that's great. If you don't, you can get it from me at catalog pricing to go with the class. And so each month you pay for a little bundle of product. It arrives, and then we create some cards together. And so, yeah, you can see all the details on that, and things like the twine and the cardstock and the ink and the blends and all of that would be part of what you get in that kit. All right, so now we're going to add a label to this before we glue this down. That's going to give us a nice good spot to be able to hide any adhesive that we're going to use on our vellum. And so I've just got a piece of Coastal Cabana here. I don't know if any of you saw my unboxing last night, but I was asked what colors coordinate nicely with these. And so Coastal Cabana and Flirty Flamingo were 2 that I thought of. And so that's what I've actually created with today, is those 2 colors. So I'm going to grab the Happy Birthday to You sentiment from our Best Year stamp set. And I am going to use some Versamark to emboss this. So I'm actually going to stamp my sentiment first and then die cut it. So there's my sentiment. And I'm going to run that through my white embossing powder. So I just keep it here in a little tray. So it's quick and easy to access. Tap that all off. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my heat tool. Hopefully it doesn't get too loud here. There we go. So we've got that stamped and embossed, and now we're going to run this through and cut it out. So I actually am just going to grab some snips and trim this down a bit because this is too big to fit through my mini, and I don't want to go across the room and use my big guy unless I have to. All right, so I'm going to pop him in, and then for this one, I actually don't use plate 1, I use plate 3 with my 2 plate 2s. And I'm going to grab my favorite label from my Tasteful Labels, and it is this beautiful smooth guy here. He's almost like the tailored tag punch, but just nice and rounded. All right, and we'll line him up and roll it through. All right. So that is done. That off to the side. There we go. I'm going to leave those plates right there because I'm going to need them again in just a moment. Because we're going to do one more piece of die cutting. So this little label we're going to attach onto there, just like that. So I can actually do that right now. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. We'll start layering this together so that we can really get this attached. So I'm putting them kind of top and bottom so that the twine can run in between. And hopefully it'll be able to run through there. Maybe not. All right, give it a try. And so I want to line this up against the edge. Notice I didn't put any out where I'm actually going to put my fingers to hold this because I'll do that later. I don't want it to stick down just yet. All right, so that's partially attached, and I can actually add the other one just there on the end for later, but I won't take the backing off. All right, so now I've got a piece of Flirty Flamingo, and we are going to run this through with our, no, not a small one, a large butterfly. Here we go. We're going to run it through with one of our large butterfly dies. So create my sandwich again, grab my machine, and we'll roll this one through. Uh-oh. I just knocked over my scrap spoon. All right, so now with this guy cut, and you'll notice I didn't bother putting like adhesive sheet on the back or anything because I like these guys to be a little bit fluttery. So I actually usually only put adhesive behind the body of the butterfly. And I'm just going to clean up these pieces off my board here. There we go. I only put adhesive under the body of him so that his wings are loose and kind of fluttery. All right. So now that we've got that, oops, a big messy scrap in here. Just pop those in. I am actually going to grab this piece. Will pick up. Turn it. There we go. I'm actually going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Now this guy does have a brush head that goes on him that you can actually roll over your pieces, and it will pop them out really quite quickly. I am in the middle of moving my office around though, and I cannot find it anywhere. So we're going to do this the slow way. So this is really grab your Take Your Pick tool or any kind of paper piercer that you've got, and we just have to painstakingly pop all these little bits out. This is where using my other machine with my messed up plates. They've just been used so much and I need to replace them. These bits all stick to the plate and come out quite easily. So it makes it a bit easier over there. It's not good for the board though, and not good for my next thing that I die cut. All right. So while I poke these out, your blades look like mine. That's hilarious, Valerie. Oh, hi, Carol, Connecticut. Awesome. Hopefully you guys are having as nice a day as we are here in BC. It is so sunny out there. Not overly warm, but so sunny. It's a little bit deceiving. I wanted to go for a walk earlier this morning, and as soon as I opened the front door, I knew that that wasn't going to happen. I'll wait till the afternoon when there might be some warmth. All right, here we go. Just about done. So today, if you're here and watching me, in the description of this video, there's actually a link for the April 2022 online workshop door prize draw. And what that is anybody who goes there and fills out that little survey that I've got, you get entered in for a chance to win one of two prizes. I'm going to draw two names. One lucky winner is going to win an embellishment from me. I'll pop it in the mail with a card after we've done the draw on Monday. And a second lucky winner is actually going to win the 4 cards that I'm making today. And so I'll pop those into the mail. So then you'll have those there and get to see all the new product up close and in person, and not have to create them for yourself. So you get entered in those draws by filling in that door prize form. All right, finally, I think we got them all. Excellent. Okay, that took a bit. Get that out of the way. So now we're going to attach this onto our vellum just up here. Actually, I'm going to put it just so it's overlapping my labeled tiniest bit. And I'm going to use glue dots for that. Oh, dark clouds in Chilliwack. Sorry to hear it, Jacqueline. Cloudy to sunny. Well, I guess that's spring everywhere. I'm hoping the sun will stick around until the afternoon so I can get out for a sunny walk. Springtime. So unpredictable. But soon we will be seeing our beautiful butterflies. I can't wait. I raise butterflies in my classroom every year, and the kids just love it. All right, we're almost ready to glue this down, but I just want to have a few more spots where I can glue things on this card. So I'm actually going to add some iridescent rhinestones to this card, just to give me like a few more places where I can stick things down. So I'm going to grab a big guy and a little one and maybe another little one over here. And I'm just going to push those down and have those on my card. And what those do for me is now I can flip over my piece of vellum, and I've got all these spots where I can pop in glue dots to hold this down, and nobody will be able to see them. It's supposed to snow on Tuesday? Valerie, are you joking? You're just on the Sunshine Coast, aren't you? That means your weather is my weather. It's not allowed to snow on Tuesday. That's gross. Yeah, I'm really hoping to be able to get out and do some gardening. I have some stuff started under some covers and some stuff started inside. But I haven't really got into the garden yet this year. Still a bit chilly out there. All right, and so then up here where I put that big rhinestone, I've got another great spot to put some adhesive, and up here. I've got that one. I can do it there. And I have one more way up here. So I've got lots of adhesive on this card. I'm even going to put one down where my twine is because it will get hidden behind my twine. So I've really sprinkled glue dots all across this, but what it means is when we flip this over, oh, and I can take that backing off now. When we flip this over, we can't see any of that adhesive. Now I'm going to line this up against the edge of my card, and I have put it down lower, like it's not centered top to bottom. There we go. And voila, that is our finished card. Oh, thank you guys so much. Yeah, the texture on the vellum is just fabulous. I love that splatters die. And texturing vellum, it just adds such a unique look to things. So there we go. We have our first card now. Actually, before I forget, I should glue in a piece of white on the inside because this is a fairly, I'm not going to use my normal glue. I'm going to use some seal and pop it in this way. There we go. Because I do have 3 more cards to make for you guys today, and I don't want to have it take all day. We want to have beautiful, quick cards. All right, so there we go. Nice little white layer on the inside so that we have somewhere to write. So first card done, and it is very, very girly, using all that butterfly stuff and the pink and everything, but it's so pretty. I love this color combo together. All right, so I'm going to set that one off to the side, and we're going to work on our second very feminine card. And so here we go. We have a ton of stuff happening here. Another really beautiful color palette that we're going to work with today. We're going to use Sweet Sorbet as the in color that I've chosen. Let's see. Oh, look at me. I actually put my bone folder away where it belongs, which means it's easy to find. Yay. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we've got a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and I cut this one. Oh, where did my ruler go? Because I want to say 3 by 3 3/4, but I can't remember. Well, yeah, it's 3 inches wide, and then I'm pretty sure it's 3 3/4 tall. So the idea is we've got this piece of cardstock that's going to kind of nicely fill this space. And we are going to stamp on here, and I've got 2 sentiments this time from our Best Year stamp set. I grabbed the "Thank you for all that you are" and "Every thoughtful thing you do." And so we're going to stamp both of those onto this piece of Pool Party. And you're going to notice today I actually don't use a lot of ink colors. I'm embossing almost everything with white embossing powder and really getting a lot of use out of my Versamark today. Versamark is definitely my friend today. So I didn't want to use a ton of ink colors, and I certainly didn't want to use any of the new in-color ink colors because you guys don't have access to those yet. Now, if you wanted access to them like 5 days from now, if you order a starter kit right now, it's $135. You get to pick $136 worth of product to go in it, and you can order things that were on our pre-order, which includes all of those gorgeous ink colors. So just something to think about if you were looking to have a little stamping community to join. We do monthly meetings and lots of crafting together. And then there's that perk of being able to grab stuff early. All right, now, so I'm going to stamp both of them. And I just did the thoughtful things you do kind of off to the right. So everything's kind of lined up on the right-hand side. Pull in my Versamark again. Now you notice I'm not rushing with the Versamark. It takes quite a while to dry. Hi, Lila. glad you can join us. Okay, so just covered all of that with the white embossing powder. Tap off any extras. And now, of course, we have to heat it up. So here we go. All right, so we've got that all embossed. We have our sentiment on there. And now I'm going to bring back that detailed trio punch that I used before. So we're going to actually start with the flower one now. I'm going to use it on the bottom right-hand corner. Oh, that was a little loud. So if you're just joining us, this is a punch that is retiring. And I think it's just the coolest little punch. And right now, because it's retiring, it's also on sale. $16.20, so it's a smoking deal. So I've done that one corner rounded and with the little flower. And then I'm actually going to go diagonal across and do the top corner, just rounded though, no flower. Okay, so I've just got that one little flower detail down in the bottom corner. Oh, you lost it a long time ago. Oh no, Jacqueline. Having that embossing buddy makes embossing so much easier. But I have heard you can take like a nylon and some cornstarch and tie up some cornstarch in a nylon and it works the same way. So if you don't have luck finding it, there are alternatives. And, you know, I keep sandboxing to Stampin' Up! That they just need to bring it back as a product in our catalogs. All right, so now I'm grabbing some more of that amazing baker's twine. And this is the Sweet Sorbet baker's twine. And same deal, I'm going to leave a little bit to tie a bow with. I'm going to wrap around twice. I'm a little bit repetitive with how I use my twine, but I just think it looks so pretty this way. All right, so that one's done. And then I take this, I wrap it under both cords and tie a knot. Oh, Amazon has them. Oh, very nice. I actually never thought to look there. And I think I live with Amazon's biggest customers. So that's pretty funny. Okay, here we go. So we've got our little bow on there. And then I'm going to trim up the one end. Actually, I'm going to make this just a tiny bit smaller. There we go. Oh, that didn't get smaller. Come on. And just trim up the one end. All right. So we've got that done. Now, before we attach this to our card, and what I have here for our card base is a piece of thick basic white cardstock, and this is the long cut. So actually scored it at 5.5, cut it at 4 1/4 to create that style. So now, before I glue this down onto my card front, I'm actually going to grab some. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have a woodpecker. Actually, we have a family of woodpeckers, and apparently they've shown up and are tapping on our chimney pipe. So I've actually got some Blushing Bride designer series paper here, and I'm going to glue this down. Now I just grabbed scraps from my pack. It's actually from the I'll go in here and show it to you. The Soft Subtle 6x6 designer series pack. And this is on sale as well because it is also retiring, $9.45. Now they are coming out with more subtle 6x6 designer series paper, but it'll be the new patterns. So Not the same patterns, but still the same beautiful colors. So I've just grabbed some scraps here from my package, and I'm actually going to cut them up a little bit because I don't need it quite the way it is. So what I actually need is to snip it like that. And these two pieces are going to get glued, like separated on each end. And then my other piece here, I can do the same thing. So cut it about there for this side and about there for this side. So now I've got another little scrap I can put back into my bin and use that for something else. So it's not very precise how I snipped them. And then we're just going to glue these down. And I'm actually going to be super cheater here and use my seal. Now, to make sure that I get this straight, I'm just going to take any old piece of cardstock. And I want it up about that high. I'm just going to make sure that that looks straight before I put this down. And I want to put it down so that it's just a little bit a ways from the end. And I'm going to grab my other piece and line this up right underneath there. Come over here and give it the same little border on the outside. All right, now that that one's done, I can just use it as my guide for my next piece. And so I'm going to pop that one in right like that. I'm only bothering to line it up on the right-hand side there and on the left-hand side on this one. Oh, I just said that backwards. Just the outside edges. How about that? Because the insides are going to get covered up by our sentiment. Oh, you'll love the new one, Jacqueline. The new patterns are really pretty. Although I say that every year. Every year I love the patterns they come out with. All right. Now that we have all of that done, we can bring our sentiment in and attach it. And I'm going to attach it with dimensionals. So I'm going to put one here just kind of close to that flower. And then I'm going to do the four corners. There we go. If you want to, actually, and I think I do, you can also pop one in the middle so they don't get saggy middles. All right. Now, when you're putting this down, I am trying to center it top to bottom and trying to make sure that none of my cut edges are visible. There we go. So that's attached. Oh, that crazy woodpecker. All right. So next thing that we're going to add to this card is a little butterfly in this space, but I want him to be kind of popped out. So we're also going to grab another piece of vellum cardstock and the fun little stitched scalloped circle. It's actually not scalloped, it's almost like points. And we're going to run that through on some vellum, as well as running a butterfly through our machine, so that we have the two cool pieces to work with. So I'm going to move some of these stamps out of the way. Bring this back in. So it's plate 3 with plate 2, my vellum circle, and then I can actually run my butterfly through at the same time, I think. Yeah, you know what, if I just rip that off, there we go. I've got enough space for my little butterfly. Oh, it's so funny how different people have different tastes around those patterns and everything. There we go. So that's all popped on there. We're going to roll these through. Yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for polka dots and plaid. Anytime there's polka dots or plaid, I'll be happy. All right. Wow, hopefully you guys can't hear that woodpecker too badly on the video, because he's just chirping away and then smashing away on the pipe. All right, and now we've got to poke out all the little inside bits on that guy, but we'll give it just a second. So this is the sweet sorbet that we're doing this in, and so again, I'm just going to grab my little tool so I can try and give it like a quick little rub with my fingers and see what will fall out. I don't like too much. All right, so I'll just poke all these out. So these ones actually come out fairly quickly, even though there are a ton of them. There we go. All right. So I think today we use every one of the new ink colors except for Tahitian Tide, which I kind of had to laugh at because it's the color I've been waiting for, and then I end up not using it in today's video. I think mostly because I just have never pictured it with butterflies, and so yeah, it didn't seem to work with butterflies today. So I've got lots of other things in mind. I can't wait to design with the Tahitian Tide and the wave stars. All right. It might be a flicker. We've got actually two different woodpeckers here. One of them is a flicker, and the other one is, oh, what's it called? My dad told me before. Can't remember. They're the ones with the gorgeous red heads. So, yeah, we've got both, and I don't actually know who's out there today. All right, so we're going to attach this butterfly to this vellum circle using a mini glue dot. So just right behind the center of his body, that picks up that glue dot nicely. And we'll attach him right to our vellum. And then what that's going to do is give us a spot to put a mini dimensional. And so it will all be hidden behind our butterfly. So there's our mini dimensional. Pull the backing off of that. And, don't stick to my desk. Bring our card in. And I'm going to bring it down here so it actually goes over top of the twine, over top of everything except for, of course, not onto our words. Okay, so there we have that. And now finishing touch is just adding in some of our iridescent rhinestones again. So this time I'm going to grab, come on, where'd you go? There we go. I'm going to grab a large one for up here, small one, and then we're going to throw down here, oops, stuck to my finger, small one down here, and a couple of small ones over here. So kind of going crazy with them on this one. It needs a lot of glitter. There we go. So that is our second card and our second, pileated. Yes, thank you, Jacqueline. Pileated woodpecker. That's the redhead. All right, so there's our second card. And so we've got those iridescent rhinestones, some Blushing Bride Designer Series paper that's on sale right now. Some details with our detailed trio punch and the twine and our sweet sorbet. And it just looks so nice with the pool party and Blushing Bride. So, yeah, that's our second card. All right, we're going to move on to something a little bit more masculine and a lot more colorful, you guys. Oh my goodness. It doesn't really show up as brightly on the screen, but I am seriously staring at a piece of safety vest green. It's actually Parakeet Party. It is such a fun color. And so we're going to use it kind of for a celebratory card. I'm pairing it up here with some Night of Navy. So that's our card base. So I'm going to actually start off right away by grabbing this Night of Navy and putting a piece of white inside it, because otherwise I will forget. Like, I know I will forget. And really, like, how awful is it to get home with a Night of Navy card and then you can't write on the inside because you don't have a white or silver pen. I would never want that to happen to somebody who bought one of my cards or received one of them. So there we go. White inside. Now we're going to decorate the front of this card with this big old piece of parakeet party. But we're going to tone it down just a tad because no, you're not that far from me, Jacqueline, and it is gorgeous and sunny here. So hopefully our weather is heading your way. So what I have got here is, to tone down this parakeet party, is the Lovely Layers Vellum in our brand new catalog. So these aren't even available yet. You get 60 pieces in here, 4 of each of the patterns. So there's these beautiful leaves, some fun like confetti, these beautiful like, I don't know, like sand backgrounds or whatever. And then this fun little, oh, that's a couple, that's why it's looking fuzzy to me. There we go, these fun overlapping circles. And then a ton of just plain old vellum that's perfectly layered to go onto a card front. What's nice about the plain ones is they can just, you know, tone it down. You can do some stitching on them, or you can use stays on and stamp on them. It is thinner though, and so you can't like use it in a punch or anything like that. It really doesn't work well that way. All right, so I'm just going to pick up most of these, and I'm going to leave behind one of these, the confetti piece. So we're going to use this little confetti piece today, and we're going to put it right here onto our, oh, that's more than one. I'm like, why is my color not showing through? There we go. This vellum is amazing. And so I'm going to use that right on top of my parakeet party to kind of like bring it down a notch. Because although I want to party, yeah, I don't need the neon today. So I'm going to attach this to my parakeet party with just a strip of Seal Plus right down the center here. Now, I am going to cover that up, so don't worry, that we can see that adhesive right through the center. That's going to get covered up, but I wanted to be able to work some twine around this before I go covering it up. So I'm going to grab my parakeet party twine. Loving all these colors. Love that I have something that matches everything. And we're going to be very boring and do that same, you know, pull a bit for the bow and then twist and twist and snip this off. So that's done. Now I'm going to grab these 2 pieces, tuck this one underneath. Oops, that went a little wonky. There we go. So let's tuck that under. Oh, why is that not working? Oh, I know why. There we go. All right, so I'm going to tuck that one under. I'm supposed to always tuck the one that I pulled up last. All right, tie them in a knot. And then I'm going to tie my bow up here. That twine, I know. Oh, don't hide your neon. That's funny. I don't know. I'm not a huge neon fan. I like it as little accents. So we're going to take our neon and have some fun with it, but make it a little more subtle. All right. So we've got that fun little bow up there. I'm going to trim up these ends. I got a little too much on that side. Oh well. All right. So trim up those ends, and now we can actually attach this piece to our card front, and we're using that Night of Navy base. And I agree, there's a lot of other colors that it could go with, but because I'm doing this as a card class, I didn't have a ton of Starry Sky available to me to be able to use that as the option for everybody. So I've got this as a Night of Navy base because I have unlimited access to Night of Navy. I have a good stock at home and can order more. So not a concern. Whereas I have maxed out my ordering on my in color cardstock until the catalog goes live. So, whoops. All right, there we go. So we've got that attached to our card base. Now we're going to add in, oh, that's interesting. I don't have the pieces for the next step. Okay, I'm going to have to run over to my filing cabinet because I am supposed to have a pool party and Night of Navy piece here, and I don't have either of them in front of me. I know that lovely layers. It is perfectly layered. Like they named it very aptly. All right, so I'm just going to grab 2 pieces I need. Some Night of Navy. How strange. All right, sorry for the delay there, guys. So I grabbed a piece of Pool Party and a piece of Night of Navy. So my Night of Navy, we're actually going to do some embossing on it first. Surprise, surprise. I really tried to pick just a few items and then show you guys as much as we can possibly do with these few items. So my sentiment for this one should be right in front of me. Yeah, there we go. Because it's kind of party-ish, it's wishing you your best year yet. And then, you know, you can do it as an anniversary card, as a birthday card. I don't know what else you would celebrate, like somebody's next year at a job or something. Or yeah. So wishing you your best year yet. You can see, like right there on that Night of Navy, the Versamark really pops out just all on its own. But we're going to make it really pop by running it through our white embossing powder. Okay, there we go. And heating that one up. There you go. So I don't know if all of you have heat tools and embossing powder and everything, but if you don't, it's definitely a tool you should consider investing in. To me, it's the most inexpensive thing you can get that really gives you the biggest bang for your buck, because you have initial investment of the heat tool and the embossing powders, which actually the embossing powders aren't very expensive, and the Versamark pad, which is less expensive than a regular ink pad. But then you have that ability to make it pop, add new colors of embossing powder to your collection, and just like so much that you can do with it. I'm also a little bit biased because it was actually the first stamping technique I ever learned. My uncle actually bought me a bottle of embossing powder. No heat tool, no Versamark, no nothing. Bought me a bottle of embossing powder and a singular stamp and a black ink pad. He clearly did not know anything about stamping and how to use these things. And so my grandmother and I sat down with it. We figured out that if you were really fast with the black ink, because it dried much quicker than the Versamark ink does, if you were really fast, you could get the embossing powder onto your image and then go over to the stovetop and use the element to heat it up and melt it. It was quite ridiculous, especially considering how young I was. But it was one of the first things that I ever did. And so then when I got older and I found all the tools and learned that you can actually do this really easily, it's just become one of my favorite things. Now, I just realized I put this away, and I still need to cut out one more shape. So here we go. I've got one more of our tasteful label dies, and we're going to cut that out. All right, so I have an intruder in my stamp room, and he's going through my stamp supplies. So what do you need? That's a mini glue dot, and if you put it on your finger, it's not going to stick very well. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. I'm not sure what they're up to. One of the boys is going to a birthday party. I think they're probably trying to finish up a birthday card. Oh, gluing money to a card. Noah, please don't use that. It will rip your money. Here. Old adhesive, it's called Snail. It's perfect. See, men don't know their adhesives or their stamp supplies. All right. So here we go. Oh, I got extra bits today. There we go. So I'm going to pop this navy label down onto the pool party label with some dimensionals. And I love these two labels together from the Tasteful Labels die pack because look how beautifully they go together. Just gorgeous. And then I'm going to take this, flip it over, pop some more dimensionals on here, and actually just to make sure it stays kind of leveled and balanced, I'm going to put some 2 to 4. And this is going right onto our card front to cover up that awful adhesive line that we had. There we go. Oh, I'm so glad you can see the blue sky coming, Jacqueline. All right, and of course, finishing touch. Now, if you knew you were giving this to a guy, maybe you don't want to do this next touch, but I have no idea who I'm giving it to, and guys like bling too, right? I'm going to add some iridescent rhinestones because they just feel so party-ish, and this is a party card. So I'm going to come on in here with a large one down here and a large one up here, and oh, don't run away on me, and a little one down here. And so kind of balance it out with this bow at the top and everything. Put some more weight down at the bottom. So that is our third card and our first kind of more masculine card. And I'm so sorry that with my lighting in here, this bright parakeet just is not coming out in the vibrant color that it really is. Whoever our lucky winner is who wins these cards will see just how bright that is. And anybody who places an order today as well, you'll be getting that piece of Parakeet Party in your card kit, so you'll get to see how gorgeous it is. All right, third card, and then our last one, I actually saved my favorite for the last, is a truly like masculine card. So we're starting with a crumb cake base. And this is just a standard 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 crumb cake base. And we're going to add some detail to it. So although this is a masculine card, I'm actually going to dip in here and grab out some of the dies from, well, actually just one, from our butterflies. There's actually a few, though, that we could use. Because there's all these great detail dies. I'm actually going to pull these out and show you. So I'm not really sure how this all went together before. So I'm getting a little messed up now. All right. Come on. Move that little guy. There we go. All right. So in here, aside from our butterflies, we have these fun. So this is actually a brick piece, and it takes entire brick chunks out, but leaves like all the background in the piece. We've got this fun, like, I don't know, bubbles and splatter kind of piece. And then this very geometric, like hashes kind of piece. So I'm going to grab this hashes piece and going to use it. That definitely doesn't go there. That one goes there. That one goes there, maybe. Maybe not. There we go. All right, so I'm going to use this hashes one. And so for this one, I'm going to need my large machine. And I'm going to pop it in up here and then flip it around and do it down in the bottom corner as well. So we're going to put little hashtag marks on both both ends. So I'm not going to bring my big machine over, so I'll be right back. And I'm just going to leave my beautiful butterfly brilliance for you guys to see. So you can see all the gorgeous detail on those butterflies. While I pop over here and put some little hash marks on here. So these are just actually dies. So I'm using a regular die cutting base and running it through as though I was die cutting a shape. But instead it's just putting little marks into my paper. And the second one. All right. Thank you so much. So there we go. So I just put in hashes at the top, hashes at the bottom. And so just a fun little detail to add to our card front. All right, next thing I've done is I have 3 strips of paper here. And actually, I think I didn't cut these down. I think I'm going to have to cut them down. Let's just see. Yeah, these are still 4 inches. So I actually want to cut them down to 3.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And so I'm just going to pop these in here and snip those away. All right, 3.5. There we go. And one more at 3.5. Awesome. Okay. So these are all snipped down to 3.5 by 3/4. And by snipping them down, now I'm going to be able to fit them nicely on my card front, and I'm going to actually emboss them first. So I'm going to grab those 2 plates that I had before. There we go. My plate 1 and my plate 4. This time though, I'm going to use the stripes folder. And so I'm actually able to put all 3 of these pieces into my stripes folder at the same time. Close that up and run it through. Okay, oops. Now I do find that with this embossing folder sandwich, you kind of have to get it just right in terms of getting it to grip. This is why I really don't enjoy using plate 1, because I find no matter what I'm doing, I have troubles with plate 1, but you need it for the 3D embossing. So let's try it this way. Oh, come on. I don't know I have this much trouble. Okay, one last go with this, and then I'm just going to take it over to my other machine. Oh, come on. I can feel that it's caught. Why won't it go? Okay. Next thing to try. Nope. Oh, this always happens when I'm on camera. It runs through so beautifully, like every other time. And so I'm just going to run this over to my other machine so you guys aren't waiting forever for me to do this. All right. So on the other machine, it's plate 1, and then you need your gray plate. So let me grab my gray plate. Oh, that's interesting. My gray plate isn't where it's supposed to be. Oh, there it is. All right. So here we go. Your hands hold the machine and turn the handle. Yeah. And you use your belly to hold the plates. Oh, that's smart. Yeah. I don't know. I did this like 4 more times earlier today using this exact same plate and had no problems, but now that I'm on screen. All right, so we're going to take these 3 little pieces and, oh, why does that one seem wider than the others? That's weird. Oh, well. We're going to take these little pieces and we're going to glue them down. So my trick to gluing them down is to start with the center piece. And so there's really no right or wrong, like in terms of which side you're going to show. So there we go. Glue that guy down. It's really to kind of look at the pieces and decide what you like. So I'm going to turn that like that. And I am putting them quite close together because I have a sentiment that I'm going to be putting on here. And I want the sentiment to be able to fully span my pieces. Okay. There we go. So I've got those 3 color stripes right down in the center of our card. And then I'm going to grab just a scrap of white. And I have the Happy Father's Day sentiment, which I'm going to stamp in Cajun Craze. Yeah, I think I forgot to tell you the colors I'm using here: Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, and Starry Sky. So it's a really beautiful blue. All right, so just tap this in my Cajun Craze, pop that down. It's such a bold Happy Father's Day. It is Starry Sky, Jacqueline. Yeah. There we go. So I've got that. And now here's where I'm going to use a brand new die because I really wanted to use the stitched label from my Tasteful Labels, but it's just a little bit short. So it wasn't going to do it. And that's when I remembered we have a brand new set of dies that will be available next month called the Stylish Shapes. And so I have a stitched banner here, but look at that. It's just a little bit longer and it fits our sentiment beautifully. So that is what I'm going to use to cut out our sentiment. So I've got my regular plates, plate 3, plate 2, pop down my sentiment, and here we go. And I love this because the new Stylish Shapes, they stitch the outside as well. And you guys can't really see that. But yeah, so that's, nice because you could also do like a negative and cut out this shape from your front piece and then have the stitching on it. So it's quite nice that way. But this one has the beautiful stitching on it. Now, before we add it to our card, though, all my other cards had baker's twine. Why shouldn't this one? So there is our Starry Sky baker's twine. Now, I'm not going to do the same thing as before, though. I am simply going to create a bow. So 2 bunny ears, loop them around each other, and pull. And just double check that that's going to be big enough. Oh, I might actually want to make it just a tiny bit bigger. I want this kind of big floppy bow that I'm going to be able to pop onto my card front and put it behind my sentiment. So let's see here. Let's just untangle that a bit. Oh, come on. Now everything's going, oh, you're on camera. I'm not going to work for you. I normally don't have this kind of problem tying a bow. Oh, those shapes are so good, Jacqueline. Such great shapes. Just kind of a basic that everybody should have. All right. So we've got a nice big bow, and when I put my sentiment over it, it just sticks out a bit on either end. I think I want that just a tiny bit smaller. There we go. I want that guy to stay open. I don't know why he keeps curling shut. All right. No, stay open. All right. Here we go. Oh well, we'll let the curls stay hidden behind. All right, now I'm going to snip off that end, and we're going to attach this to our card front using a mini glue dot. So I'm going to grab a mini glue dot, and I take your pick tool, and right a little bit higher than center on the yellow piece. I'm going to pop that down, and I'm going to trim up that one end. And now our sentiment is going to go over top of this with some dimensionals. I'm just going to put them on the ends so that we don't end up with a dimensional where I have that knot tied. There we go. Yeah, tying bows sometimes is so easy for me and sometimes so challenging. All right, and then I'm just putting this Happy Father's Day down so that it goes from side to side over our colors and covers up the knot where we tied our bow. And then I'm just going to play with these and get them to lay the way I want them to lay. There we go. Use my tool to poke that under because I don't want to see the twist in my twine. There. Oh, go back in. All right. So voila, that is our finished final card. I'm not going to put any bling on it or anything. We have our special little etching on the sides. And so that is our final card. So I'll just bring in all the cards together and show you guys one more time. So this is all created using the same materials, different colors. There we go. And such a fun, wide variety of cards. So remember, a lot of these products are retiring. Our detailed trio punch is retiring and on sale. The Tasteful Labels dies, retiring and on sale. Actually, I don't think I told you guys that. They're on sale right now for $33.60 for those Tasteful Label dies. And then the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and dies as a bundle will be carrying over to our new catalog, but they won't have bundle pricing anymore, so it'll be 10% more. Our Best Year stamp set is retiring. It's not on sale, but it is retiring. It's $27. And our Subtles Designer Series paper is retiring and on sale for $9.45. So lots of sale items. Lots of retiring items, and then, you know, some new colors, some new product, and these are all paired with colors that, of course, are sticking around as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. If you guys have any questions about my upcoming In Color Club, or if you want to get the Make and Take pack to make these cards for yourself, let me know. To get the Make and Take pack, it's simply using the host code that I put into the description of this video to place a $65 order or more, and then you'll get the card kit for this, as well as like a little written PDF. You can come back and check out this video as well to put them together. And then, of course, for this month, I also have, with the $65 purchase, you also get my April tutorial bundle that I'm a part of. So kind of like an extra bonus on that one. And so it's 35 projects this month are included in that April tutorial. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I hope you guys liked the cards. Hope you have a fabulous rest of your weekend. And this workshop will stay open until Monday when I get home from work. And then I will go through and send out the Make and Take kits to everybody who ordered. And I'll do the door prize draw on Monday night as well. So feel free to share the video with friends and contact me if you have any questions about anything. All right. Bye, everyone.